Hello everyone, this is Gene and I'm back with another video. It's been a few days since I've done a video. Real life has been hectic and so it's kept me away a little bit. But anyway, I wanted to do what is hopefully my last video about the Birds of Prey film. I've said pretty much everything that I can say about it and why I have misgivings about it. But I've been watching the news, at least comic news and entertainment news, and it seems that the film is underperforming to the point where many people are calling it a flop. Apparently, it was projected to do, I think, around 40 to 50 million for its opening day and opening weekend, and it only did about mid 30s, right? Only in Hollywood can you make like $30 million and that be considered a flop. But anyhow, I wanted to go over very briefly just about five things, about five reasons why I think this film is not doing too well. So, although I'll be using numbers, this is in no particular order. So, let me start with the most recent thing. Apparently, in an attempt to draw in movie audiences, they have officially changed the name of the film from Birds of Prey and the Emancipation, or rather, and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. They've changed the name of the film from that to now simply Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey. I think this is a case of too little, too late. Even if you can go back in time and have them officially name the film Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, or Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, or whatever, your first problem is the fact that this is a Harley Quinn vehicle. Now, Harley is certainly a popular character, not going to deny that, but she is not popular in the way that Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman are. She is not an iconic character that can carry a film on name recognition alone. And Margot Robbie, as an actress, is not popular enough, at least as of yet, to carry a film on her name alone. So you have, in this case, an actress and a comic book character who are well known and well liked and popular, but again are not that person or that character where people will rush out immediately and go buy something with their name on it or go watch a film with their name on it because it's their name on it. They could become that in time. I mean, what? Both the actress and the character aren't even 30 years old yet. But at this point, they're not at that level. They are not that iconic character or iconic actress, sorry, that can carry a film and draw in an audience on name alone. That was never going to happen. Harley as a character works best when she's part of a duo, right, or part of a team. You think of her and Joker, you think of her of Poison Ivy, right? And usually, even in that, she's usually not the main character. Again, Joker is the more well-known character. Poison Ivy is the more well-known character. This could change, right, in the future. You never know what the future holds, but at present, Harley she just can't stand on her own the way they want her to. She's popular, but she's usually popular in tandem with someone else. So there's your first thing. There's your first problem. Here's your second problem. Your second problem is that this film is rated R. It's a hard R, right? Suicide Squad, excuse me. Suicide Squad, from what I was hearing, I was watching some videos recently, had a teen audience that was just under about 25%. So Suicide Squad apparently had a teen audience that was just under a quarter of their total audience, right? That's a sizable chunk of your audience that is now being frozen out, right, because of the hard R rating for the Birds of Prey film, right? So whatever teenagers were interested in seeing this film, right, very few of them are going to be able to actually go to the theater and go see it themselves, because for at least in America, right, if a movie is rated R, that means restricted, and you have to be 17 or older to see the film on your own. If you're younger than that, then you have to be accompanied by a parent or an of age adult, right? And teenagers, I don't think too many teenagers are going to go through the trouble of dragging a parent or an older sibling or whatnot with them to the movie theater to see this film. So you're already losing a possible quarter of your audience that would have spent money to go see this film. Now, let's be clear. Teenagers who want to see this film who are under the age of 17 will see this film, but they're going to take alternate means to see the film. They're going to sail the high seas, if you know what I mean, to see this film. And that ultimately hurts the film because guess what? The movie, the $15, $13 movie ticket or whatever the price is going to change depending on where you are. Right? But that movie ticket, right? That movie ticket money is never spent, right? Multiple viewings, right? So people spending that money over and over again, that's never spent. It never goes to the movie theater, which means ultimately it never goes to the revenue of the film. So there's your second problem, right? There's your second mistake. Here's your third one. By making this film so what's what I'm looking for? I guess being with everybody, every major character in this film being so out of character, right? The most egregious ones being Cassie Kane and the Black Canary, and Roman Sionis as Black Mask and Mr. Zaz and everything. With everyone being so out of character, guess what? You've now turned the comic audience away. And here's the thing, while dedicated comic fans might be few in number, they are the type that if they like something, they will buy everything of it because comic fans are collectors. And if you're in a collector hobby, you're spending money, right? So if comic fans, the real serious ardent comic fans were pleased with this film, they would go watch the film. They would go watch it multiple times. They would buy the DVD. They would buy any related merchandise. But at least from what I've seen online, I haven't come across any dedicated comic fan yet who has given positive praise for this film. More importantly, and this is always one of the biggest things, right, is word of mouth. If people are happy about something, they will tell other people, and that will get the word out. And because it's a positive endorsement, people who maybe would not have considered it, right, may go see it because it was recommended by a person that they like and know and trust. Likewise, when something is disliked, people go tell their friends even more. Right? And what happens? Because you know and like and trust the person, you go, if they didn't like it, there's no way I'm going to like it. And then you don't go. Right? So by turning away and making the movie something that comic book fans are likely to dislike, not only have you turned away a small but money spending audience, you've also now caused that audience to tell other people they know, right, who maybe aren't as big as comic fans but like the movies, right? You've caused that audience to go, no, it's not a movie I'd see. It's not related to the comics. I would not recommend it. So there is that. So you've turned away more people. Next, of course, is probably the biggest one that everybody keeps talking about, which is the marketing, right? The marketing, of course, as has been with many female-centric superhero films and female action films going back to around this time last year, right? With Captain Marvel. Well, Captain Marvel came out in March, but around this time last year, right? These female-centric superhero films and action films having this marketing campaign that instead of building up the character, spends more time turning away the male audience by making them feel unwelcome and outright rejecting them, telling them that this is not a film for them. Okay? Excuse me. It's never a good idea to turn away an audience. There's no problem in focusing on a particular audience or demographic. There's no problem in that, right? And trying to say promote or hype your work for that audience. But there's a difference between focusing in on a certain audience and going, hey, people in this audience, we really want you to come in and see this film. And then telling other audiences, but yeah, you guys, no. We don't want you here. Bad, stay away. That doesn't work. You never want to turn away an audience. Maybe focus on one more than the other. Okay, fine, sure. But you don't want to turn away a potential audience because a potential audience is money. And men, especially for the action film genre, because that's what superhero films are, they're action films. Men are the dominant audience. I'm not saying you have to market a woman's superhero film toward them, per se. But don't push your dominant audience away. It's just bad business 101. Excuse me. And on top of that, not only do they push the men away, but when they suddenly figure out, right, that this film is not going to do well because it doesn't have, male money coming in, right? Then suddenly it's, men have to come see this movie. It's like, but why though? Why? It is not necessary to life to go watch a movie, right? There are certain things that you have to spend money on, right? You have to pay the tax man. You have to pay the rent. You have to pay your bills. You have to buy food and clothes and water and shelter for your family, right? You have to keep the car if you have a car. You have to keep the car going. There are plenty of things you have to do with your money just to get by. Go see a film that is actively telling you that you're not wanted is not one of them. So really, why should men go see this film? Or any other film that has had this type of marketing within the past year? That seems to be what Hollyweird for Jesus Christ forgets. There's the word I'm looking for. That people don't have to spend money, right? Going to see movies is it's a leisure activity, right? It's something that you do with your discretionary funds. The same money that you spend on, transportation, on eating before, eating after, eating during, the movie ticket, and all this other stuff, right? You can save that, and that can be like lunch money for like at least a week, right? At a work, or you can put that toward your rent or whatever else. There are always better things you could spend your money on, right? Good marketing would convince you that of all the things you could spend money on, you should spend money on this, right? But that's what good marketing does. Poor marketing reminds you of the fact that, hey, I don't have to spend this money on this thing. I'm not going to. I'm going to put the money elsewhere, right? That's the result of bad marketing. And then there is, I believe this is the fifth, right? What's what I'm looking for? Fifth reason why this film is not doing well, which is that it did not pull in the female audience they thought was going to replace the male audience. First of all, let's make something clear. Regardless of the size of your audience, an action film is an action film is an action film. And action films are always going to be predominantly male. That's always going to be your audience, predominantly male. For an action film, which Birds of Prey is. It doesn't matter that it's starring a bunch of women. It's still an action movie. The majority of women, especially those going to watch movies, are not going to see action films. Nothing wrong with that, but you just have to know your audience. All right, now more importantly, here's the thing. when they pushed out the male audience, they didn't bring in a female audience. They somehow, for whatever reason, thought that if men aren't going to see the film, then women are just going to take up those empty seats that men would have had. That's not how this works. Just like you have to entice men to come see a movie, you have to entice women to come see a movie. And the reasons why most women go to watch movies are very distinctly different than men. The type of movie a woman wants to see is very different than the type of movie a man wants to see in most instances. For example, the only superhero film that I can think of, at least at present for DC, that really hit a chord with women and brought in a sizable female audience was Aquaman. And you want to know why women went to see Aquaman? 2 words: Jason Momoa. He's very handsome. He's very attractive. He's exactly what you need to bring a female audience in. But it wasn't just that, although having a hunk as the head of the film certainly helps. What also brought female audiences in was the romantic subplots and the maternal subplot in those films, represented by Mira, right, played by Amber Heard, though I don't think that's going to be happening for the second film, given what's going on with her. And then, of course, Nicole Kidman's character, at least from what I hear. Right? What women want to see in their films, at best I can tell, right? I'm one woman in the world, but I've known a lot of women. I am female. And here are some of the things I've noticed, right? Most women, what they want in a film or in a story that's going to attract a predominantly female audience is that they want, first of all, they want men. They want guys in the movie. They want positive representations of men. You can have bad guys. You can have villainous men. That's fine, but you can't have just villainous men. You need good guys, right? And you need various types of good guys for the women to like and admire and crush on and all this other stuff. You can see it in boy bands, and you can see it in romance novels and romance movies and TV shows like Scandal and what was it, Grey's Anatomy. What was the nickname for one of the guys, McDreamy or something like that? So there's your first thing. You need some handsome hunks in your movie, and they need to be on the good guy, or in this case, good girl team. It can't just feature all bad guys, because guess what? Women don't want that either. It's not going to entice a woman to see your movie to see nothing but bad men. Most women don't think men are all bad. Do we know that there are bad men in the world? Yes. Are there things that men do that drive us up the wall? Yes. But it doesn't mean that we, or at least the majority of us, are so bitter toward men that we want to be at odds with them all the time. We don't. If we wanted to be at odds with men all the time, we wouldn't do these crazy things like get married and have kids and start families with them. Okay, we actually want to be at peace with the men in our lives, generally speaking. At least this is what I have observed of the female sex over my 35 years of life. So there's that, right? Number 2, right? So there is that. You need men in the film, likable, handsome men, dream daddies. But you also need a romantic subplot. If it can't be the main plot, then it's got to be the subplot. Because women, myself included, I'm a lifelong tomboy, like a good love story, right? You have to have the man and the woman, be at odds with each other, come from different worlds or whatever it is, right? Have all these barriers that keep them apart, and then of course during the subplot, right, they overcome all of these barriers so that they can come together again. This is stuff that women like to see. Men want to see heroes being heroic and saving the world and saving the city and saving the girl. Women want to see the romantic side of it, right? Two people meet, fall in love, break up, get back together, so on and so forth, right? And the Birds of Prey film at least from best I could tell, does not feature that. It doesn't show, for example, Harley Quinn leaving Joker, but then finding, a better boyfriend. It doesn't, at least to my knowledge. I haven't seen it personally, so I can't speak to it. But from what I've seen of other people's reviews, no one has mentioned even a positive male figure. Not a cop, not an ally, nothing. Not even references to like Green Arrow, which really, if you're gonna have Black Canary, you can at least throw in a reference to Green Arrow. I mean, come on. But to my knowledge, they haven't done that. So when you don't have those attractive men, and you don't have the romantic subplot, right? You're not really gonna draw in a female audience, and right. So what are you gonna do? You've turned away your male audience, but you didn't think of viable ways to bring in your female audience. So now, what do you have? You've turned away four demographics, right? Teenagers, comic book fans, men and women. So really, who is left to see this movie? When you've turned away 4 audience demographics with your bad marketing and your ill thought out approach, who comes to see this movie? Who would want to come see this movie? And you wonder why it's failing. This film is just like Charlie's Angels. Excuse the raspy voice. This film is just like Charlie's Angels, as I said several times in my own videos. It's Charlie's Angels, it's Terminator Dark Fate, it's the Dark Phoenix movie from last fall. It's a movie that should have done well, but didn't, because of the fact that it's basically one of those things where it's like you have to actually put an effort to fail, right? It should have worked out, but when you approach everything in just the wrong way, when you don't think about your audience, who you're attracting, who you're pushing away, when you don't think about the marketing, you're basically, in my opinion, actively trying to fail, actively trying to lose. You're tanking, is basically it. And this is what you get. You get a movie that's underperforming, that's flopping. And here's the thing: it isn't flopping because it's a bad film per se. Because here's the thing: bad films can still make a good amount of money if you know how to market them and what to do with them. Look at, say, the Star Wars film, right? Was it Rise of Skywalker? I have yet to come across any positive review of it, so it's not a good movie. But it was marketed well, right? The Star Wars name, even though it's taken a beating over the years, is still enough to get a lot of people in the movie theater. It's PG-13 film, and it came out around holiday season. Perfect timing. People are at home, or they're taking time off work, and they want to spend time with family, so they all go to the movies. So people are spending money. Or if you look at Captain Marvel last year, right? It didn't make $1 billion because Brie Larson put on an amazing performance. She didn't. And it's not that the film itself was an amazing piece of cinematic work. It wasn't. It did well because it was placed literally about a month out before Endgame. A lot of people went to see the film because it's not as if the character of Carol Danvers is marketable. She's not. Ask anybody who follows comics. But what they did was, aside from Disney possibly buying a lot of their own tickets, right? But when you think about like placement and when it came out, it was genius. It was genius because it came out literally about a month or so before Endgame. The Captain Marvel came out in March. Endgame, I believe, came out in April, right? So a lot of people went to see the film thinking that, oh, maybe there'll be hints of Endgame in this. Maybe this will reveal some information about Endgame or about Captain Marvel as a character and the role she'll play in Endgame. Right now, of course, a year later, people all know that she didn't really play as big a role as Some thought she would, but people didn't know that at the time. And there was the mystery of how does this relate to Endgame that drew people in. So you have to give Disney at least that much. That's why those films, in my opinion at least, made money despite not being good movies. They had good placement. The marketing wasn't great, but at least they had good placement with when they were released. This film doesn't have that. Again, they were actively trying to fail, and now they're actively trying to blame everybody else but themselves for their failure. So I say to Margot Robbie and her production team, and to the director of the film, and to Warner Brothers, and to DC, and to Ewan McGregor, who went to every damn talk show that would have him talking about how proud he was to play the chief misogynist in Black Mask. I'm just waiting for the woke to complain about a straight actor playing a flamboyant gay man stereotype who hates women. I'm just waiting for that to happen. It's going to happen sooner or later. But anyway, to all of them, I say, congratulations. You played yourself. Take this L. Just like I said to Liz Banks, take this L. There is nobody to blame for the failure of this film but yourselves. Maybe put a little more thought into it next time. Anyway, that's the vid. As usual, it's gone on way too long. But I hope you enjoy it. Please let me know what you think. I'm so thankful for the audience that I have. I guess that has come to me. I don't make the audience. You guys make the decision to subscribe and hear me out. So thank you so much to anyone who is new, or to everyone who has been here. And I will see you guys in the next one. We have a day off here in the U.S. because it's Lincoln's birthday. So I know that for many other people in the world, wherever you are, it's probably a work day. So may your day be happy, healthy. May the work day not be too long. And I will see you all in the next one. Have a good day, everybody. Bye.